Deckzee gets the 8th. Hey, I'll be happy to admit, I didn't know if Deckzee's playstyle was going to hold up in these set lobbies. I thought the higher caliber player would make him come a little bit unstuck. But as I said, could not be happy to be proven wrong. Deckzee in 8th. Fantastic performance. Cannot wait for that YouTube video. It's going to be a banger.
In today's video, I'm not just only going to show you my finals. I'm going to show you my whole journey from qualifying to finals, all the way to getting my best solo placement I've ever had in my entire career. I went from being sick, having 40 in fever the day before heats, to almost not qualifying finals. And then on the day of finals, my internet went out completely. So I had to play from some of my fans' house. This is just a little bit of what happened. But before we get into the video, if you guys want to get better, check out my masterclass. This whole video is a great representation of how much my masterclass is going to help you improve. But that's it. Let's get into game 1 of heats. And I need top 25 to qualify for finals. I thought I was uncon, but out of the corner of my eye, I saw a guy flying in and I could see he was dropping for the waterfall. This is pretty much half of my loot, so I wanted to key him to make sure he wasn't going to steal my loot in the other games. I quickly realized that this fight wasn't worth it because my loot wasn't good enough. But I hope after me showing how easy it is for me to key him, that he won't land there next game. But anyways, I decided to make a little search base on top of this mountain to get a little bit of search, because if I've dealt more damage that I've taken, then I'll always be above search. And for that reason, I can actually tank a bit of storm and rotate in later. So now I just stay at my house, farm up all the mats that I need, and then rotate in late because I'm above search. I ended up having to pop a slurp, but I wasn't too worried because I was planning on buying some big shields from the vending. I did end up getting tagged, and now I was slowly going below search, so I had to make sure that I wasn't getting tagged anymore this game. But it didn't even matter because of course the worst possible thing happened. Before next game, I of course decided to go in replays and see what was going on. Pretty much there was 2 different players landing on 3 chests each, taking half my loot and running away. Having half of your loot being taken is already a big issue in itself. But the problem is, when players only have 3 chests each, they're going to try to go for a play because they won't have enough loot to play the whole game out. I knew this could become an issue because they might camp on me or key me if they get quick loot. So I had to be extra aware going into this next game. I knew that he had almost no loot. I was trying to wait for him to commit and make the mistake. He ended up disengaging by crash padding away, and now I was really scuffed. Luckily enough, while I was running around, I found a jetpack, and now the most important thing is getting my mats up, because technically I already have enough loot to play endgame if I just have cap mats and a jetpack. When I went up in the house and started farming, a guy flew in. I was trying to crouch and see if I could camp him, but I quickly realized that he was aware about me, and instead I decided to look for some search and get the rest of our mats up. I was pretty unlucky with the zone here, and this rotate was going to be a problem. There were so many people around me, and I knew that if I wingsuited first, I would be the one getting beamed. So I decided to beam them first, tank a bit of storm, and then go in later than them to make sure that I didn't get beamed. This rotate was successful, and now I just had to pull the zone. And of course, zone pulled max again. And randomly, some loot just spawned on me. So I do appreciate that nice refresh, but this rotate is going to be a problem anyways. Or so I thought. Somehow I got in the zone without getting hit a single time, and now I was ready for the end game. I had everything I needed to win this game. And with this zone pull, I almost didn't have to move. I just had to move up 1 box and then box. Now I was in a great position. I was just waiting for the next zone pull. And again, I pulled zone. And now, as you guys probably know, I am a high ground player. My whole strategy this whole season has been going for high ground. And of course, I'm gonna do the exact same thing, even though it's heats. After 2 games, I only had 12 points. I was slowly starting to think that I had to win a game to qualify. It started to seem impossible calling off consistency. This means I would have to play a perfect game and then actually make the high ground go well. Well, at least I started the game out with a nice elimination out of the air. and I went on the hill and got a good amount of search. While I was on the search base here, I realized that I was going to pull a lot of these zones. So I decided to take a little risk and go buy 3 big shields. Because even if I got tagged and lost a bit of my search, I would be able to get it back because I had such a great position. And now with having so many more heals, it will be much easier for me to win the game. So now my only job is just to get the search back. But with this position, it's actually pretty easy. I just need to be aware and make sure I'm not getting tagged while I'm getting the search. And right here, I actually get a nice zone pull. Now I can just keep getting even more search, and then if I get tagged on a later rotate, I won't go below. And as you can see, I get pretty unlucky. Zone pulls max. But luckily enough, on this wingsuit rotate, I don't even get tagged a single time. And now I just need to wingsuit one more time to get in zone. I do end up getting tagged here, but because I bought those bigs, I can easily recover it. Now I just spend a little bit of mats, get in zone, and I hold a few people, getting a little bit more search before the end game. And again, I pull a nice zone. Now I just chill and wait for the next rotate because the end game is about to start. So I set up my wingsuit rotate and then I land high layer because again, I'm playing for the win. I need to take the high ground because I don't have enough points to pull for consistency. Now this is the last rotate. I'm going for high ground and I was prepared mentally to send it. I go around the circle and I land the highest layer possible. I build up, establish my high ground, and I make sure that I don't get landed on quickly. After that, I scout for second height and I put some pressure on them. Zone pulls back, so I need to elevate a bit higher to make sure I don't get landed on by people wingsuiting or get sneaked on by someone below me. I try to keep good awareness and zone pulls ahead, so I build a bit ahead and then do a nice connection. Now I build ahead again and put some pressure on second height, but as expected, someone tries to take high ground. That almost went wrong, and for some reason that guy didn't go for high ground, so I was able to just go up and take high ground again. I realized I was really high up, so I had to go down quickly before getting chopped, but I also had to make sure I wasn't getting landed on. But finally I got a little bit further down and did a nice connection. Now I just looked back and tried to put some pressure on second height. When I got that kill, I was really thinking about going for the refresh. But I've been playing so much high ground recently, and almost every time I lost high ground, it's been because I went for the refresh. So I decided not to do that. And trust me, that was a huge mistake because my mats were running out and I needed a refresh. And with me not having mats, I ended up not being able to connect, and this was a problem. Well, that game did push me up the leaderboard, and I was now in 36th place. That's 63 points, and to qualify for consistency, I needed around 150. That means that I almost had to triple my points in the next 3 games. That seemed again almost impossible. I was going to play for the win again. I almost did it that game. I was just one refresh away from doing it. I knew I had what it took, and I've been practicing this playstyle for my whole career. I was much more confident on high ground than any other layer. I just had to make sure that I got my search, I got my loot, and also I had to make sure that I was confident, because confidence is what separates the people that qual from the people that don't. So I was locked in this game. I only had 3 more chances, and I wasn't going to let this one slip by. And as you can see, my mid game was going pretty great. I got my search and I got all my mats in a nice position. Now someone did pull max, but instead of going too early, I made sure to shoot some people to get some damage and then go. And then again, I positioned myself on a high layer on top of this mountain. I did get tagged and lose a lot of my healing, and then of course someone pulls max, and I have almost no healing left. But luckily enough, when I was flying in, I found a fishing rod that I could land on and fish. So I was able to fish and get a few floppers for the end game. Floppers are really great for the end game because then you can tank and go a little bit later on your wingsuit. And then someone have died right beside me. So I just got a free refresh before going into the end game. So now I have all the mats I need. I just need to wingsuit and land high ground. I wanted to land high ground, but I got caught on this wall and landed second height. This was fine for me because I knew I could just mirror height and then take high ground later. I had plenty of mats, so taking it later was completely fine for me. So I tried to tarp the low high ground in wood and save a few mats, get ahead, and then look up again. I wasn't fully in zone, so I had to tarp it in a little bit more, but it was fine because I had so many mats. And then someone pulled back straight through the high ground tarp, and I knew I was able to mirror him. Now I just had to sneak up and go for the play. I ended up blanking high ground when I was sneaking up on him and going down in 20 seconds. I was slowly getting more and more points, and I was starting to think I could maybe call off consistency. And after getting this shotgun, I was feeling confident playing aggressive on the player landing beside me. I knew he almost had no loot, and I also knew that he was probably nervous. I wanted to use this to my advantage, because even if I didn't kill him, getting some damage without getting hit myself was going to put me above search. And if you're above search, the game is easy. And as you can see here, I get a free tag on him. And now the game is pretty simple. I get a little bit more damage, get all my mats, and then I go center zone and box up. I did end up getting tagged, but I was still above search, and I was in a great position for the end game. I ended up pulling zone here, and that was really great. I did only have one slurp, but I was planning on popping that later and then tanking a little bit of zone and then rotating after everyone else. And as you can see here, I wait, beam a guy, and then I go later, hoping to not get held by people. I sadly did end up getting hit on my way in, but I ended up getting in safely because I built a bit, and now I'm ready for the end game, and I just gotta hope that I pull zone and get a little bit more search, and I'll be fine. And now that's an issue. I've now made one mistake, and I'm only on 80 HP now. I tried to wait a little bit, let everyone else go ahead, and then I wingsuit myself to hope people are not looking at me. I'm doing everything I can to look for some whites, see these wooden ramps, and I decide to spray them out just to see maybe there's something hiding below it. And there is. Bandages. This is a game changer. I'm now on 125 HP, and I actually have a chance of pulling this off. Someone pulls back, and I use this tunnel to camp on someone, and someone walks by. For some reason, he didn't walk through the tunnel in my direction, so I ended up just getting some damage and going back to my spot and get ready for the end game. I need to clutch up. This game really matters, because remember, I need 150 points to qualify. I box up at a nice layer, and I see this guy looking for some damage, and I was thinking maybe I could crouch up and get a kill, because I do need a refresh. This was a mistake. I get beamed, and now I'm late on the rotate, and I'm really low HP. I try to land as quick as possible, box up, and then heal up. I'm not dead yet, I can still do this. I've got 200 builds, but I need to be careful. I really need to get a refresh. But before I do this, I'm going to wingsuit to try to save as many mats as possible and try to get even later in the game. When I wingsuit, I did end up going down on low ground. This is an issue, because when you're rotating on low ground, it's really hard. A lot of people are holding you. And as you can see, I ended up going down. And now going into this last game, I only needed 30 points to qualify. I was already on track to qualify right now, being in 22nd place. I had to be calm, and I had to make sure that this game counted. If I didn't get these 30 points, I wouldn't even qualify to the finals. In my head, that's the bare minimum. After getting some damage out there, I somehow found 3 medkits at my PY. And I've been thinking about this strat with the situation where someone pulls max if I get whites. And I had everything I needed for this situation. I found a launch pad early in the game as well, and now I have 3 medkits and even slurps. So I farm up all my mats, and I go up on my search space, and now I just sit up here and get all the damage in the storm. I've been preparing for this strategy, so I go down, get my launch pad, and now I get ready for the rotate. But I haven't been practicing this rotate enough, so I kind of forgot how to set it up, and someone was pulling forward. If I didn't do this first try, that could make me die to storm. I even forgot the door. Somehow I pulled it off first try. Now I went down, bought patch up, and then wingsuited further ahead. But again, someone was pulling really far, and it was about to be a 5 tick very soon. But I got lucky. I found a med kit on the way. I threw it in, and then I popped it. And now I'm pretty much full HP on edge, and then someone pulls max again. pulls back to where everyone else is. So I just wingsuit through the lobby and just hope I don't get held. Luckily enough, there was a hill covering me and I could use the hill as natural cover. I end up boxing up and I'm ready for the end game. And again, when I wingsuit here, I prioritize landing high layer so I have much better awareness on the lobby and my next rotate is much easier. Some pulls and I was trying to wingsuit up, but there's a guy right here, so I had to go through on the side. I thought the guy on high ground was cheating because I saw him killing a lot of people out there. So my wingsuit didn't go too well and it almost went wrong when I landed, but I survived. And now I have enough mats to just keep tarping. I need a few more points to qualify. I just need to stay alive. So I invest my mats and just keep tarping and try to play as safe as possible. But now my mats are running out and I only need a few more points. I was nervous. No, no. I needed top 25 to qualify, but the game wasn't over yet. I restarted my game and I was really nervous to see the final result. Luckily enough, I qualified. Top 25. It couldn't have been closer. And on the day of finals, I was having some problems with my internet. For some reason, I kept getting kicked out of the game. This was a major issue and it was on the weekend. For that reason, my internet provider wasn't opened. So there was no solution. So I ended up contacting everyone I knew. And luckily enough, one of my fans actually reached out. They told me that I could borrow one of their rooms and play from their house. So I packed my whole setup, drove over there. Luckily enough, it was only 20 minutes and I set up my whole setup to play. And in day one, I actually came 17th place. I was playing for high gun every single game, but it didn't go too well for me. I sadly forgot to record, but I remembered to record day 2. And this day, I went even more insane. I switched up my strategy, trying something new, and it worked. Let's start with game 1. I started the first game out with getting an AR, and then I got some damage out there. This was already a great start because again, if I just don't get tagged, I'll be above search for the whole game. Now my game plan for the finals is trying to go zone as quick as possible and just box up and play endgame. But when I rotated down, I almost fumbled. Luckily enough, nothing went wrong, and now I just rotated deep and boxed up. Because I was already so deep so early on, I pretty easily pulled zone here. That means that I didn't have to move at all, and that also means that I wouldn't have to get tagged a single time. Now this next zone, I didn't pull, but it wasn't too bad. I should be able to just tarp in a little bit and then wingsuit later on. And then here when I wingsuited, I just dove down instantly because I wasn't trying to take any risk. And again, I wasn't that much above search. I couldn't take more damage. Here zone pulled fully maxed, and I knew if I wingsuited instantly, I would get beamed. So instead, I popped my slurp, stayed back, and then tried to get a kill out there, and then I wingsuited. Because there's a hill in front of me, I decided to land and take all the loot, and this paid off. I got cap. Zone was pretty quick, so I ended up losing a lot of HP, so now I had to look for a siphon later in the game and play really safe, because a single beam could take me out. And then of course, zone pulled back. Again, luckily enough, the rotation went pretty easy. I wingsuited off the hill at the same time as everyone else and then boxed up. But when I did box up, someone below me needed search. That was so close, but because I stayed calm and just held out my shotgun, usually in heated situations like this, the opponent makes a mistake, and I was able to punish him for that. And with this kill, I now got my siphon, so now I'm 150 HP, and I've actually got really good mats compared to them this late in the endgame. So I just wingsuit and land high layer, and I just kind of position myself on second height to make sure that I'm not getting griefed by everyone else. If you're second height, you're able to not get shot by anyone else than high ground. If you're below, there's a chance when you rotate that you get pumped really hard. When you're second height, you do end up spending a lot of mats, but it's much safer. And then also if you're second height, there is a chance of you taking high ground. And as you guys know, I like doing that. And then right here, I tried to go off high ground because it looked free, but there was someone deep in storm. And this wasted all my mats. top 25 in a finals isn't that bad, but I had to make sure that I was getting some better games than this. I couldn't just only get a top 25 if I wanted to place well in this finals. And like our last game, rotating early worked really well for me, so I decided to do that again. But when I went down my hill, I saw that my waterfall has been looted. This means that half of my loot has been taken. There was nothing I could do about it in this game, so I decided to just rotate up, and I was trying to sneak on this guy. I got a small beam on him and I decided to play aggressive because I knew there was a lot of metal in this tunnel, and I actually had a game plan set up for this exact rotation. After getting out of the tunnel, I saw a player, and after getting some damage, I decided to go over and find a fishing rod, because this was the game plan. I was going to sit here and fish the whole game, but I was also going to get some search before doing it. And I saw a guy just randomly dying to storm, and I don't mind getting a cap refresh right before endgame. And after this refresh, I just went back to my base, got some damage again, and I picked up so many floppers and actually dropped my shotgun because I was going to rotate in a 5 tick. This strat is taken from Cringe won day 1, and I had been voting him the whole day to prepare for this exact situation to see how I could execute this strategy. When I did get in, I was trying to look for a shotgun, and I saw this guy dying close to me with a shotgun, so I tried to go over and take it, but there was an issue. After almost dying, I decided to chill, but again I really wanted the shotgun, so I decided to pop a slurp and then actually try to go for it again, but as you can see, it didn't go as smooth as I thought. Now I got the shotgun and I can just rotate in safely. I've pretty much got everything I need for this endgame again. Cap, great precision, and now I just need to lock in and make sure that this game is better than my first game. Now I do a nice wingsuit, and again I land high layer. This is because I have no shield left, and therefore I gotta make sure I don't get beamed on my rotates. And my mats are really great, so I do believe this is a good trade, wasting more mats and playing more safe. Now I position myself second height and I look up for height. It looked like they were fighting a lot, but I wasn't able to take it, so I decide to just chill, drop some layers, rotate front, and then maybe look for a chop. I tried to chop out height here, but as you can see, it didn't work out that well, and now I griefed myself. I almost had no builds left, so I decided to pop this flopper and then go for a play. I needed a refresh. After this insane refresh, I tried to take high ground, but as you can see, it didn't work out that well. So I just had to give it up, drop layers, and try to play with the rest of my mats. For a finals lobby, top 14 is great. Then in my game 3, I actually had a pretty easy mid game. Some pulled pretty far, so I ended up staying here and buying patch up and then going in late. The problem with going in late is I was one of the only people going in, so therefore everyone was holding me. So therefore I had to just keep tanking, pop all my heals, and then rotate in again. I ended up getting tagged again, and my search were going down. So I was trying to get a little bit of search before going into the rotate. But that was a problem because other people were also scuffed. That was a 0-point game, and if I want to do well this finals, I can't have any more of those. I made such a silly mistake and had bad awareness. In a final like that can cost you a lot of money. Going into this game, someone stole a lot of my loot at the waterfall again, and he actually ended up trying to key me, so I had to stand my ground. After getting some nice damage on him, I realized that I was able to disengage because he went down a few layers. In a normal tournament, I would probably fight this guy, but in a final, it's all about just getting more damage than being dealt. So I was above search here, and I decided to just go back to my house, reform cap mats, and then just tank zone and rotate in later since I had all the search I needed. Zone pulled max again, and I was a bit worried about people being in storm holding me. When I rotated in, someone caught me, and I almost died out the air. But luckily enough, I ended up healing up, and then I was tarping in on the edge. And then finally, I pulled a zone. Now I was able to breathe a little bit. And right here, I see someone flying randomly and end up killing him out of there. This is actually Scroll, and he was in first place. I was far from first, but getting these 3 points really helped me, and also some surge. Now I was in a great position. I had good mats for this endgame. I was only 150 HP, but I knew that if I just landed second height and played my mats, that wouldn't be an issue. So when I wingsuited, I did end up hitting someone in there, but I still positioned myself second height. I was right below second height, and I had to go up and fight him. That is just how I am. But when I did take high ground, I didn't connect, and that was an issue. I really quickly lost high ground and lost a lot of my mats, but I still had enough mats to clutch up. So now I was just trying to stay patient and wait for a refresh. I saw high ground and I was able to mirror him again. I was trying to be below him so he wasn't going to put pressure on me, but I really needed a refresh. So when I saw that second height was fully tunnel vision on height, I tried to go for a play. But it didn't work out in my favor. That 20-second actually pushed me up the leaderboard a lot, because I was actually pretty consistent since it was solos. But again, if I wanted to place really well, I needed to get a good game. And in this game, I was almost conned. Some guy was trying to land in my house, and then he ended up swerving. This made me realize that my loot was going to be taken. There would be no loot for me, so I had to only play with what I had. I instantly went up on the hill to try to get some damage, ended up getting some damage on this guy. But I could see that this guy was trying to key me, and I was doing well, so I decided to run away and hide in a bush. He ended up coming over, and we had to fight. I was nervous. I ended up taking down Vox on 5 HP. That was the closest fight I had the entire tournament. And now with being above Surge and having so much mats, I decided to just play Storm and rotate in later. So I went to the gas station, bought Patch Up, and I found a pad on the ground. Decided to throw it down and then go again. And now when I landed again, there was people around me tanking Storm. This means that if I wingsuited, I would get beamed. I had to just tarp, and I actually ended up getting really scuffed because this guy didn't move. I had to go in further because I couldn't just keep tanking in a 2-tick. I only had 1 slurp left. So I ended up wasting so many mats going in, and this guy tried to key me. I was 1 HP. But now I was only on 7 HP. So I went through the buildings trying to look for whites, but I couldn't find anything. So I went to another building, and again there was no whites. But at least I found some crash pad in the other building, and I used this crash pad getting in zone, and then I was just hoping that I could get a siphon later in the game and save the game, because I needed to make this game count. Now I used my SMG to shoot through some walls to get a little bit of search, and then maybe even get a refresh from it. And then now I'm forced to just send it with this crash pad. I go in the building to hopefully camp someone rotating by, but sadly it didn't work out. No one came by, so I had to do a risky wingsuit and then box up with the remaining mats. Now I needed to look for a refresh, but that didn't go well. He ended up being 6 HP, and when I went out of this game I was in 7th, but the game wasn't done yet. So I restarted my game, and then I saw that I was in 11th place. The prize pool difference from 11th and up is crazy. I was already guaranteed to 25, but I had so much money that I could win if this game went well, and I ended up getting the bot. I was a bit worried about getting keyed, but I ended up getting him safely, and I was making sure that I was playing as safe as possible. And when I kept looting, I could hear zipline. Someone have landed my waterfall, so I ended up having to fall back. I wasn't trying to take any chances. I ended up just playing safe and go in the bush, and now rotate down to the forest and just farm up my wood. I wasn't going to play with stack loot. I was going to just try to get a few mats and then go for a refresh later. I knew that if I got this refresh, this could be the difference of me winning thousands of dollars. But if I failed, I would end up getting top 25. But it wouldn't make a difference anyways. I either needed to place really well, because getting 0 points wouldn't lose me any money, but getting a lot of points could make me a lot. So now I just rotated over and wingsuited in zone. I wasn't able to make it all the way in, and in here I boxed up beside a rock. And I got greedy. I decided to make a huge mistake. Reforming that rock was straight up stupid, but I was nervous. And when you're nervous, you end up doing stupid things like this. Now I was below search, and I needed to get the refresh now, because if I didn't, I would end up dying to search. And now this was a game changer. And I had everything I needed, and my plan was successful. I was just above search, so before rotating in on this next rotate, I decided to just get a little bit of damage, and then I wingsuited and landed high there, because even though it's last game, I have a lot of mats. I could still play for the high ground, because again, a good game here could literally make me thousands of dollars. So I build up here, and then I just get a free kill out of the air, and then I can just wingsuit late. Here I decided not to land high ground because someone was already on it. But in this next wingsuit, when I was flying, I saw this big massive tree that I could land on. So very quickly I waterfall down and boxed up below. I looked up again and realized there's literally no high ground. So I just have to play it. I shoot the people wingsuiting to make sure that I don't get landed on. And then I realized that I need to drop some layers very soon. But I don't end up doing it in time. I ended up connecting to this guy, and he decided to edit all his builds out, and he sadly ended up taking the high ground from me. This lost me so many mats, and then now I ended up just playing my chug and then look for a refresh. I only got the wood from this refresh, so I very quickly needed to get another one to stay alive. Moneymaker was unaware and I got some siphon builds, but it wasn't enough. I needed to get another one, and high ground was on me. Now this was a good game, but let's see the final result. 8th place. That is literally my best solo placement ever. I went into the prize pool and saw that I made $4,000. That was insane for me. That's the second most money that I've ever made from a tournament. Thanks for watching, guys. This video took me multiple hours to make. So please like and subscribe if you like this content. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.